on. Patricia Gibson.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to speak in this debate, having, along with my SNP colleagues, raised this matter, participated in debates on this matter a number of times over the years. And the awful gravity of the situation in Yemen means that it's a matter of profound regret that we so often have to raise these matters and so often have to repeat the harrowing suffering suffered by the people in that country. And one of the things that comes up again and again, in fact, it's impossible to have any discussion about Yemen without, of course, talking about the shameful fact that the UK government persists in its sale of arms to Saudi, who are committing sickening atrocities on Yemeni civilians. Independent reports have shown over a number of years from a number of sources that in doing so, the UK government is aiding and assisting war crimes. And the country has long suffered a deep humanitarian crisis. Now, for the UK government, as we've heard again today from the Honourable Member for Rother Valley, for the UK government to obfuscate, equivocate and pettifog about the legality of the arms it sells to the Saudis, when it is as plain as the nose on your face that Saudi is a barbaric regime which has perpetrated appalling massacre on the Yemeni people. It is beyond sickening. It really is, no, I'll make some progress, people want to speak. It really is profit, a trade in death before due and proper consideration for the sanctity of the lives of the Yemeni people and the huge suffering that they have encountered. And we've heard today of heavy diplomatic engagement, that was the phrase, heavy diplomatic engagement by the UK government. But the arms sales to Saudi undermines and indeed mocks any efforts by the UK to pretend to be an honest broker. Now, despite the legal and ethical considerations, we've heard today that since 2015, the UK has sold £5.4 billion worth of arms to Saudi. And let's not forget, that country that they're selling these arms to, Saudi, that's the same country that punishes its own homosexual citizens with public whipping, beatings, vigilante attacks, chemical castrations, imprisonments, possibly for life, and capital punishment, and many other forms of torture. Now, why do we not take a much firmer line with a medieval regime in the first place like that, instead of selling it arms so that it can perpetrate its own forms of barbarism? A country based on Sharia law, where women are legally the property of their oldest male relative. Is it any wonder that Saudi has no respect for the human rights of the Yemeni people when that is how they treat their own civilians? Now, the government seems to have a trade and foreign policy that's contradictory. It sells arms to this regime so that it can slaughter civilians, while trumpeting its subscription to the global human rights sanction regulations, selling instruments of torture to the Yemenis. It really is time for the UK to stop the warm words. The warm words are not going to save the lives of the Yemeni people. It's time to stop selling arms to this blood-soaked regime in Saudi and stand up properly, in practical terms, against the slaughter of the Yemeni people and play a less equivocal role in this conflict.